talking to the team as the send-off to the summer?
Well, talking about moving forward and what our goals are going to be. Coming into this year, I think we all thought that there was a chance that we could turn the corner quickly after going through this, and really in the third, three solid years of a rebuild. This is hard work. Doesn't happen overnight. This is a situation where everyone's got to continue to band together and work toward building this thing up. 33 wins, 24 wins, 33 wins. Is it 24 or 25 last year?
24.
33, 24, 33 sounds good if you're talking about, some things, but not wins. And we've got a lot to be optimistic about, but there's an amazing amount of work that needs to happen this summer and move forward into training camp next year.
How do you begin to build life after Dirk?
The guys that have been here for the last few months, which include all the guys that got traded from New York, Sacramento, and the guys that have been with us some for quite a while, got to witness what greatness is really all about. They got to witness what being a selfless superstar, is all about. They got to witness, the challenges of moving on in your career to later years and all that goes with staying on the floor. So they got to see a guy basically come to the conclusion of his career with the greatest amount of dignity and competitive greatness that you could possibly do at age 40. Just an amazing couple of days to me. To do it on one night in front of Larry Bird and Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen and Sean Kemp and Detlef Schrempf, and 19,200, and then the next night to go to San Antonio and see the greeting that they had for Dirk at the opening introduction was just brought tears to his eyes, and then how he performed was nothing short of amazing. And so this is a really important 2 games to have witnessed for those guys, and there's something we can fall back on and refer to. But Luka, Kristaps, Hardaway, Powell, Brunson, all these guys that we're moving forward with, Jackson. These are all terrific pieces to a puzzle that we're going to continue to work to solve.
Rick, when you came here in 2008, you came to a team with a bona fide superstar and that was competing. What has made you embrace the rebuild and build this thing from the bottom up the way that you have in the last 3 years?
Well, I love it here. I love Dallas. I love the organization. I love Mark. I love Donnie. And look, going full bore into a rebuild as a head coach is something that I had never done. I'd been through it as an assistant with the Nets from '89 to '94, and it's a climb. It's a slow, arduous climb, and you've got to have good luck along the way. I feel this year we had some good luck and some good fortune with moves and flexibility. We'll have to take advantage of those things this summer. But this is going to be all about a young core of players coming together to push each other and have a common goal, which is to build this franchise back to where we need it to be.
Brings your impression that'd be a water cannon salute last night?
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen that. I thought it was spectacular. But when you're looking out of airplane window that, you know, your view isn't quite as big as it is in a Cirrus. But listen, it's the tributes for Dirk and what he's accomplished and what he's meant here in Dallas are gonna continue, and they should continue in perpetuity, you know, because it's just getting your arms around everything that he's done here is something that's not an easy task.
Dirk told you headed into Tuesday that he was going to announce after the ceremony in the way that he did.
That's private business. You know, it was pretty clear to most people that, you know, to go on much further, you know, was going to be extremely difficult. You know, I'm so happy for him, for Dirk and Jessica and their family, for the way this culminated. You know, Tuesday night, the Phoenix game with him, you know, going for 30 points and a win in front of some of the greatest players in the history of the game. I thought the exchange between Mark and Dirk during that ceremony was one of the greatest things I've witnessed, you know, in my 30-some-odd years in this profession. So just the sincerity and the love and the authenticity of it both ways was an amazing moment and not rehearsed. You could tell that it was just coming straight from the heart. So that was great. And then again, you know, last night, what they did on the video screen with the introduction and the ovation from that crowd in San Antonio was just, you know, it brought tears, you know, to a lot of people, and I was close.
Rick, on the night where Dirk passed away, you talked about how unique it is for a player of his caliber to allow himself to be relatable to the average fan. How kind of special is that for him to not be too big for his britches and to let the casual fan, the average person, relate to someone like that? What does that kind of speak to him?
Well, an enduring aspect of Dirk's great legacy will be how human he is. You know, over the course of 21 years, his early challenges with his career were the fans' early challenges. They stuck with him as he, you know, climbed up the slow ladder of success in this league individually and as a team. You know, he allowed the fans to have access to what that was all about. When we reached the top of the mountain in 2011, you know, the fans lived vicariously through Dirk, that experience, and he has always allowed the fans into his public life in a way that is so sincere and so authentic. So, you know, and look, in the years since the championship, as the team has gone through ups and downs with rebuilding, well, trying to stay competitive and rebuilding, he's maintained a very positive tact, which has kept our fans positive, and they've related to that. And then, you know, the other night, the Phoenix game, not one person left that building. Everyone stayed, and then we were all hanging on his every word. I mean, it was really, really an amazing moment. But the way that he's allowed all of us to have access to his success is something that's very unique in the relationship between a superstar and a city.
Jalen Brunson showed a lot this year. You've done this before with Jet, where, you know, Jet wasn't necessarily the sixth best player on the team. He was better than that, but came off the bench. How do you see Jalen's role as far as a starter, bench player, and how does that change going forward?
Well, we'll see. We'll see when, you know, as the team takes form this summer. We'll see what happens with free agency. Yeah, it's, you know, on April 11th, I think it's time to say whether Brunson's going to start or come off the bench. I mean, that's not. We just don't know. He's certainly proven that he can do either with a significant amount of effectiveness, and he's a player that continues to grow. So So we'll see. I mean, we've got a lot of really good options with this team, with this young nucleus. I mean, you talk about down the stretch of the season, no Hardaway, no Porzingis. Beret is not a young guy anymore, but he was a guy that was playing extremely well. And Jackson and Brunson, Luka, and as I mentioned, KP. Look, there's a lot of really great pieces to the puzzle here.
Will Jalen be on the Summer League roster or too early to tell?
I don't see it.
That's it.
I don't see him or Luka playing. We got the two-way guys. We'll have whatever draft picks we have playing, and then there'll be free agents, and then who knows? Maybe some others.
Has Jackson also played his way above that? Justin Jackson.
I don't think he'll play.
Rick, you mentioned right after the trade was made, the next, you had hoped if your schedule allowed, you would go to Europe as someone to visit with Porzingis. Have you been able to set your schedules? That's still too far in advance.
Yeah, I have. I will go to both Latvia and Slovenia this summer to spend time with both those guys, both he and Luka. So I look forward to that. But I'm not getting into details, and we don't want a big media thing. This is just going to be a basketball thing.
Rick, looking back, what was your first impression or first memory of Dirk when he came into the league?
Oh wow. Well, it's a good question. There were immediate comparisons to Larry Bird, and Larry had immediate success in this league, but he was a much older player. He had transferred schools, sat out a year between going to a different school, and he was 22 or 23. Dirk was extremely young. He was 18 or 19 years old. So there was a learning curve that was different. But as time went on, you could see Dirk starting to get it. And Nelly made the position switch. And then he started to have an even greater amount of success. And then, as time went on, he just became a monster to deal with because 7'1" guys that face up at the elbow, and stuff like that, weren't growing on trees back in those days. Nelly had an awful lot to do with Dirk's development and his pioneering of the stretch four position. He really did. But I always felt that the comparisons between Dirk and Bird were understandable, but that they were quite different players. Larry was a prototypical small forward in the era of tall ball, and Dirk was really a power forward in the era where the game got faster and things got a little smaller. And their games are, aside from the great shooting stroke, their games were significantly different. But two of the very greatest that ever played.
When you gather for preseason camp here in a few months, do you anticipate
Preseason camp, I'm just trying to get to 410 when I have my radio show today.
do you anticipate the expectations being as high as they've been in a pretty good while around here?
Yeah, I don't. None of us dodge expectations, but we got to manage expectations. Again, this is a full-fledged rebuild. When I was in New Jersey as a player for 5 years, I played for a month, and then I was an assistant coach for the rest of that first year and 4 more years. Our wins were 17, 26, 38, 43, and 45. I mean, it was a gradual climb, but it did not happen overnight. And so we cannot sit here and feel like this is going to be a turnkey operation. There's a lot of work to continue to do, but I'm extremely optimistic.